Hello. I have now unlocked the post-nerf Grozovoi on my main account, and I've been testing this ship around, and ultimately this ship is pretty goddamn terrible. Now, of course, the thing that made this ship special in the past was the anti-air. The damage on the long-range AA guns, as you can see there, it used to be over 80. They nerfed it down to 51. Now, why this is important is because, well, if we talk about the gearing, for example, it's got 45 AA on those long-range guns, whereas the Grozovoi has 51. And Grozovoi can get 7.5k range, gearing can get 7.2 if it runs AFT. So, what we're saying is, the special AA this ship had no longer exists. In fact, you're just as well off running a full AA spec gearing now as you are running a full AA Grozovoi, because there's literally no point in running the full AA Grozovoi anymore because it's no longer special. The gearing can run the same AA build and still be much more useful than a Grozovoi ever can. So the AA build is out of the window because, well, no point anymore. Let's talk about the guns then. It has really good shell velocity, 950 meters per second, which is one of the best, but it used to have a really special HE alpha of 1.8k. This used to be another one of the special things of the Grozovoi, but Wargaming decided to buff the HE alpha on all the Russian DDs to 1.9k, except on the Grozovoi. So instead of having the best HE alpha, it now has the worst HE alpha. So that means, of course, well, that's pretty shit. And if you think this would be enough, no, of course not. This ship has the worst fucking range you can imagine. If I'm swearing, apologies, but I'm pretty annoyed at how terrible they managed to make this. The ship, in fact, has a stock range of 10.3 without AFT. Now, to put that in perspective, the Tier 5 Russian DD, the Podvoisky, has a range of 10.5. So yes, you understood it correctly. The Tier 5 Russian DD, the Podvoisky, can outrange a Grozovoi. In fact, if you run AFT on both of them, as you probably want to, since that's one of the first specs you get on a Russian DD, you get 12.4 km range on the Grozovoi and 12.6 on the Podvoisky. So, congratulations Wargaming, you have made a Tier 10 DD that is outranged by a Tier 5. Now, having 12.4 km range is of course nowhere near enough on this ship because, well, if you can tell here, this ship is absolutely massive. It's like 20% longer and thicker than the gearing. It's clumsy as hell, 720 meter turning circle, so pushing into caps and such is pretty much nightmarish because if you get spotted, radar, whatever, it's so much damage getting out of there. And no, it's not as fast as the Kaba. With speed flag on, you can get 41.5, which is half a knot faster than the Shima, but far away from Kaba's 45 knots. You also don't have the Kaba's awesome 50mm armor plating. You have the same 90mm armor plating that the gearing has. In other words, you are absolute paper. The entire ship is covered in paper, just like any other DD. It's really big, really clumsy, and the armor is paper, so it's massive damage from everything. Of course, that wasn't enough. It also has a 73,000 horsepower engine. In comparison, the Kaba has 130,000 horsepower, so almost half less. And this obviously affects the way it accelerates, the way it stops, the way, like, how long it takes for the ship to get moving. It's just an incredibly clumsy beast, and it feels like a struggle to even sail this thing around. It feels more of a cruiser than the Kaba does, even though the Kaba has a worse turning circle, which is pretty impressive. The Concealment, 6.9 with Concealment Expert, Camo and the module on, and that's the best you can get. Comparison gearing, 5.9. In fact, the humorous thing here is that the Z52 will finally be able to ambush a squishy ship. In fact, I'm pretty sure Z52 can eat you alive, since he'll come charging in with Hydroactive and then smoke up within range before you can even turn this massive ship around, which is pretty damn hilarious. So the fire chance is good. It's 8% default, which is honestly the same as pretty much on all the Russian DDs, but hey, that's a good thing, because at least it's not worse. With Flags and Demolition Expert, as I'm running here, you can get it to 11%, so you can actually get some fires going. Your HP pool is 24.4k, which is, what, 1.5k more than the gearing? Not nearly enough to justify all the downsides in clumsiness and divisibility and all these other things, but hey, at least it's got more HP. Once again, woohoo! We'll take what we can get. The torp angles are absolutely abysmal. Let me, you can see the torp angles. Literally, I wanted to torp the Lo Yang there. Look at this. Like, I literally have to turn my entire ship around, and I in fact end up reversing too far, because it's so hard to get these torp angles where I want them. They made them as narrow as possible. So you would expect, of course, with all these downsides, with all the shit things I pointed out on the ship, all the bad things I pointed out, you would expect, well, hey, at least the torp's gonna be really good. But no, they're not. They're 10k in range. The reload on them is massive. 129 second reload without any upgrades, like any captain perks or modules or anything. If you think that sounds high, well, yes, even Kaba reloads its torps faster, and the Kaba also has 10 km torps, so you literally have the same torps as Kabarovs, except your torps do less damage than Kaba torps. Your torps do 14.6k damage, whereas Kaba torps do 15.1. So you literally do less damage than Kaba, and the Kaba torps reload faster, they are stealthier. What else? They have better angles. Like, Jesus Christ, the only advantage you have over the Kaba torps is that your torps are 9 knots faster. That's it. So you are literally better off speccing a Kaba as a torp boat than you are trying to make this torp boat work. And trust me, I've tried to make the torp boat work. I've tried to make the various hybrid builds work, but it's absolutely awful. Oh, and special mention here, this ship has a completely unnecessary torp upgrade that costs 30k XP, and you have to get it, because otherwise the stock torps are 8 km. So you have to get the torp upgrade that upgrades your torp to 10 km. You only lose 1 knot, so it's like an upgrade that everyone is going to get, will have to get, must have. But for some reason Wargaming decided to put it behind 30k XP, because, well, I don't know, fuck you basically. That's the only reason I can think of. So, like, look at this, getting spotted in a position like this. Look at me I'm accelerating full speed, trying to turn away, and look at this acceleration. This turning circle. Even a gearing from this range, I'm trying to get behind the cliff, but this ship is so massive, even a gearing from this range can nail me so easily, because this clumsy, massive thing just won't handle the way I want it to handle. Overall, this ship is absolute garbage. In fact, this ship made me want to play the Z52, and Z52, and I hate the Z52. I think the Z52 is retarded because of the firing debuff, but this ship made me want to play it, because the Z52 feels better than this ship. They managed to ruin all the things that made it special, and they have given absolutely nothing to compensate. Now this gearing gets a special mention for actually sitting in the smoke long enough for my torps to reach him. They are stealthy, as I said, and he managed to catch them, so hooray, I actually broke 100k. I mean, I've broken 100k a couple times in this ship, but it always feels like such a struggle. And then I played this on stream, and then I played one Kaba game in between, and I instantly got like 180k damage easily. And the Kaba was, and I probably landed more torps from my Kaba than I did playing this ship. Ultimately, what, 102k damage, XP, blah 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 blah. Don't really care. I cannot recommend this game. This ship at all. Let me go over my recommended build, since people will be asking for it, because some of you will think that, haha, I shall prove Flamu wrong by playing this ship, and then you will realize that this ship literally offers nothing that the other ships can't do better. In fact, if you want to play the ship, but you want the better version, play the gearing. Ta-da! Anyway, let's move on to the build. Right, starting off, recommended build modules. Here's the upgrade I just spoke of. You have to burn 30k XP on this one. You can see the difference, 1 knot of speed and 100 meters of torpedo concealment. So everyone will of course take the 10 km torps, everyone. There's literally no option here. You're forced to take them because they are the better ones. This is just another way to squeeze some more XP out of you, I guess. Upgrade wise, repair, smoke, defensive AA. If you're running speed boost, why the fuck are you even playing this ship? Honestly, of course you're gonna run defensive AA on this ship. Upgrade wise, main armaments mode 1, AA range. I mean, once again, you're running defensive AA, duh. Main battery mode, because the guns are much more reliable than the torps. Yes, I've tried the torps. Yes, you can run the torps, you actually get a nice amount of reload out of them. You can get it down to something like 100 seconds, but ultimately they're not nearly as reliable as the guns. Engine, rudder, stealth. Captain perks, preventive maintenance, you'll need it. Last stand, once again, you'll need it. And BFT and DE, which one you take first is kind of up to you. Fars are nice, increased AA power from BFT is nice, Concealment expert, and you're gonna need advanced firing training because 10.3 range is absolutely ridiculous. And finally, Adrenaline Rush. You can flex around, you can test some other stuff, you can go maybe Torpedo Reload if you want, you can get some Survivability expert, I gave it up ultimately, but ultimately you're gonna realize that no matter how you really spec this thing, even if you go full AA build, someone else is going to go full AA build in the gearing and do it better, while also being much more useful. Of course, since gearing has, I forgot to mention, much better smokes than this ship has. Ultimately though, I didn't think Wargaming would release a ship that would make the Z52 look good, but they have managed to do that, so well done.